Hi everyone. I've been asked to show how I put together a junk journal. So what I'm going to do is start with the cover because that is how I start my junk journals. This is a Reader's Digest. I like the size of it. I have chosen Reader's Digest is one of the sizes that I will make even when I don't have the books. I can make the signatures until I find a book, so because it's all one size. My other go-to is the Lillian Jackson cat books. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've chosen this one. It is a blue book. Actually has a story about that written by Nora Roberts that has some great. I don't know if you know, but sometimes Reader's Digest will have photos. Or not photos, but pictures. So I've taken some of the pictures out of here. I have a friend that will take the guts of the book, and she is doing a folding, making things out of folding the paper. So you want to choose a book that when you look at the top, the spine actually pulls apart from the book. Okay, so the book is bound and then bound to the cover. So you want to be able to like put your finger in there. So the first thing we're going to do is open the book, and sometimes you need to take 2 pages. And you're going to go ahead and pop the book. So literally you're going to move it over and you should feel it pop. Okay. And then we are going to take our X-Acto knife and very carefully come as close to the book, not the spine, but to the book as you can. Because my last one, I broke the spine. I mean, I cut into the spine, and it ended up being okay. This is going to end up being a book for Halloween or 30 Days of October, and I think that it's going to be magnificent. This is some fancy duct tape that I have that I put in it to hold the spine. So I'm going to very carefully, some of these are easier to see than others. And just go along with your craft knife, your X-Acto knife. The first couple that I did with scissors, but they were not as close as the Reader's Digest are to the spine. Okay. Sometimes it's easier than this, usually. But, you know, I'm filming, so why would it be easy? Okay. I've also made a couple of spines. Back to the old-fashioned way, maybe. This one is just, it's one of their special books, so maybe that's why, I don't know. Okay, well, we'll turn it over and do this side, and I'll come back to that. Yeah, it doesn't even really make the popping. I can feel it pop. Sometimes opening it to this other page helps. Okay, so sometimes taking out the scissors is the best way to go. I haven't had this trouble on a Reader's Digest yet. Okay, so the scissors made it much easier on this particular book. I'm being careful because I'm limited. I don't want to, I've got only so many Reader's Digest books. There we go. Okay, so we've got it open. Now we have the guts. You can use this. Let's see, this is from, well, it's Nora Roberts, so it's missing its front pages. 2001. This one was 1981. Okay, so then you're going to want to take and clean this up a little bit. Okay. Back, and I just grabbed some sandpaper, and I'm just going to go ahead and sand off those rough edges, because they might make it hard for the book to open and close. So there we have our book cover, and I'm adding a couple more pages to my to what I want to be able to use. So I'm going to just spray them with some coffee, and that'll give us the distress look, and we'll let them go ahead and dry. So there's one. Okay, so we'll continue. I'm running out, but I just have coffee in my spray bottle, and I'm just spraying it and then gonna let it dry. These three pieces, I primarily need the good side, because I'm going to use them in the front and back covers and maybe for pockets. So, makes funny noise, but it works. Okay, and that way we'll go ahead and put these over here, and they will be drying. And I've cut a piece of cheesecloth, and I've cut it just so that it's going to go over the sides there. I think I've cut two. Feels like it. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. That'll give us a little extra binding hold, and then the frayed edges on the outside will be kind of fun as well. I'm leaving them their natural bleached color because the book that I'm making has some of the bleached color. Yeah, I mean, it has some white and some coffee and some very light coffee staining. So that way it subtly will make it match. Okay, and I'm being generous here. Then I'm going to go in. This is that Aqua Tombow Mono liquid glue, and I'm just going to go ahead and rub it around. Make sure I've got it in the corner there, and then we are going to add the cheesecloth. Okay. Now this part is a little tricky because it wants to stick to your fingers. I'm like going, why am I making a video of this? Because it is interesting. Okay. We'll put some glue on top. I imagine you could Mod Podge this as well. I have not done that. I really like this glue. It dries clear. And like I said, this is primarily going in, we'll use these old scissors. Primarily going in here to give us a little extra hold it together. Okay. Rather than, you know, I did duct tape on that one. The only reason I did duct tape on that one was because I broke the spine. I did. Poor book, I broke its spine. Okay, now we should let this dry, but I am going to go ahead and get it ready for the next piece, and I'm looking for it because I had already cut it, and of course now I can't find it. Oh well, look at the, there it is. Well, there's a piece of it. Oh, I know. I didn't cut the length. I only cut the width. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're putting glue down again. Now this time I'm putting down a piece of the Valance. You've seen it before. If you watch my videos, I've been cutting the little roses, the little embroidered roses out of the border. And literally this Valance was in the garage sale pile. I was like, oh, look at what we can do. So I have cut a piece here, so we need to actually go over further with the glue. This glue does give us time. About time for a new one. And I am going to cover this with paper. Sometimes on the books that are in this great of shape, I would do the centers, and I might leave the side, maybe put a pocket in it, but why waste the time and the energy? But this particular, what I'm making is peach, and it is not going to match this dark blue. And I went through all my Reader's Digest to see if there was something more appropriate, and the ones that I have I really want to use for my thankfulness journals I have coming up. Okay, so we're rubbing this on, and now it's letting us rub it on here. Okay, now this one actually is finished, and it's got this little eyelet, that I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it at the bottom. I'm going to kind of have it come down a little bit so that I can put a charm or something hanging from there. Okay. So now what's going to happen is, because I'm doing this little thing here, I'm going to end up with a little bit of fold, and I'm okay with that. We do want to make sure that we're in the crease. Okay, and we do want to make sure that we've left it so we can get in there. Okay. Okay, and I decided on this and having it down the center because I'm going to make this particular book with 2 signatures, and I thought it would be fun to have these to look at in between the signatures. That's why. You know, the element of surprise. Of course, if this is your book, you won't be surprised. And that's how I like to do things. I like to have things be different. Okay. Okay, up. We don't want it showing down there. Okay. I changed my mind. It's gotta move up. Move up, move out. Okay. These old scissors that don't seem to cut anything are great for coming back into these corners. Of course, you can use your fingers. Okay. Now I do want to go down a little more because I don't want the blue of the book to show. And I did have this other lace out because originally I thought I might do this. So, but I might do that in another book. Okay? Okay, so we're going to let this dry. We're going to go ahead and cut the top with the scissors that actually cut. You know what? I'm going to let it dry and then I'll cut it. Or maybe not because I have cheesecloth. Okay. And a lot of times I do things different. I mean, literally, even though some things are similar, everything is one of a kind coming out of my craft. Okay, and I think what we'll do then after this dries is we'll just go back and fray that. And we'll have the two looks. Okay, so that is our inside spine, and we'll go ahead and let it dry and come back and work on the outside spine. I don't know if you all remember, but this came, and there's two of them. It's a front and a back for an album cover that was in the trunks. So I am going to go ahead and take the tape off and get this material off of here and see if I can use it for this album that I'm making. It is vintage, and it's from back when we used to make the fabric covered albums. Okay, and then check that cardboard out. I love that. I don't know where that's going to end up. Okay, so I have cut out. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside over here while it continues to dry, and we'll go ahead and start working on the cover. The thing about using Reader's Digest is they're all the same size, so I can go ahead and use the Halloween one to give me, to cut out my my cover. Okay, so I'm gonna lay it down. I don't want to cut up any of these cool pictures. Save those for Peggy. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it so that I'm able to bring it in and glue it down on the inside. Okay. Let's see. If we go. And then I'll be able to use pieces of this throughout the album to go ahead and make it cohesive, make it all match. And I have it's a kind of a pinky peach going on, but it does have more greens along with it, I believe. We'll see. It's a work in progress. Okay, we're just going to come down here and cut off where the tape was. Okay. Okay, so we have cut the piece out that will be on the cover. And here, I'll show you just, this is the paper that I'll be using, the scrapbook paper part. And I've already coffee stained it. This will be cut apart, so I'll be taking that apart. I have this and this and this. So you'll see that seems to be a pretty good match, especially going vintage. Okay. And then I've picked out a couple of pages from a calendar. Where's the other? I don't see the other calendar page, but there was a couple. Oh, this is another page from this. There, I coffee stained some of that. I also coffee stained some tags that I'll be able to use throughout the album as well. Okay, so that is all ready. And then I also coffee stained some of that lace tablecloth. Okay, we're back, and I have the cover is cut out, and it is time to open a new package. And just wanted to show you how this comes in the packaging. I pick it up at Michael's or Joann's, and I usually use a coupon because it doesn't go on, or doesn't seem to go on sale very often. It's really good to pick up when they have the additional 25% off your purchase. So we're going to go ahead and place this book down, make sure it measures correctly, because I did use a different book. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting the glue onto the book. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do it a lot of glue. Give it a lot of glue. I'm going to be doing some other things to this cover, so if I end up with bubbles and things like that, that'll just add to the character, but of course I'm trying not to. Okay, again, I'll be using my finger. You can use a paintbrush. So just putting glue all over the book. Now going ahead and rubbing it in, making sure that it goes onto these edges, down that center. Okay. This glue does take a little bit to dry, but when it's really thin, it dries pretty quickly. I mean, quicker. So just rubbing it in. Again, get it all in those places. And then we're going to go ahead, I've got some cheesecloth on my finger. Go ahead and turn it over. And there. Press it down. Okay. And now pick it up. And come over to this side. Go ahead and rub it down. Find those places on the spine. You want to make sure that those are, that you have those indentations, because that's going to make a difference on how well your book opens and closes. Okay. And get the cheesecloth out of my fingernail. Okay, and it does dry clear. And I chose a print like this because I am covering a dark book. I mean, it's dark blue. So there. And we're going to go ahead and let it dry. So our cover has dried. And now we're going to come to the inside. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut at an angle up to the edge of each of these, each corner. And we're going to put those aside because we will be able to use them. And then we're going to get out our aqua Tombow glue. And go all the way along, and I do want to make sure, that it's stuck to the edge as well. So, okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. Actually, we'll do the side. We'll go all the way across the bottom. Whoops. Okay. And this does dry clear. And oh, I got too much stuff. I'm doing the Halloween one at the same time. Because while you got the stuff out, you might as well go ahead and make more of it, or make everything that you can. Okay, I did notice since we are covering this, we should go ahead and cut the cheesecloth and the eyelet material carefully so that you don't cut the other material. Okay, so we have done that. And this way I can finish this bottom piece, get the cheesecloth off my fingers. Okay. And remember, I wanted to use this, so I'm going to fold it in and make it look finished right here. Okay, so I've taken and I've pressed it in, folded it, and I'm going to press it down. And that way I can still maybe come in and attach something there to be able to do the charm like I wanted to. We will see. Okay, now we'll go up and pull down the top. Every once in a while you'll hear my husband. He is home today. He's trying to be quiet. I told him, I said, this is going to be a long day of pieces of videos. So right now he's on the radio, so you might hear that. Now one of the things I noticed is that we can see this blue here, so I'm going to go ahead I came in too close, I guess, and put down a triangle. Okay, and it's going to be okay. We are dry, and next we are going to go ahead and we are going to do the magic fingernail measuring method, and I am going to go up to about here, and we'll come in from this side to here. The magic method, fingernail method, measuring method is go to where you want it and pinch it with your fingernail. Okay, that is the magic fingernail measuring method. Okay, so we're using the trusty Cricut cutter here. Okay, and so for the left side, we're going to this magic fingernail spot. And for this side, we're going to this one. Save that for later. And okay, so get out the new one. Go ahead, actually put it on the paper, not on the edge. I did a little bit of spraying this paper with coffee. It doesn't have much of a difference, but I know I tried so that it would match the paper. So it has a good coffee stain there and a good coffee stain. It reminds me of wallpaper in Iowa when I was looking to buy a house. Okay. So the one thing I have found with this glue is glue it down, let it sit for a minute, and then go back over it one more time and press it down, and then it stays really well. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. So how many of you do the magic thumbnail method of measuring? It does work a little better than the magic eye method. Works actually a lot better than the magic eye method. That's just gauging it with your eye and going, oh, okay, I think we'll put it here. Okay. Okay, we'll come over here, press this down again. Okay, the one thing that I'm seeing here, I think I'm going to want to put some kind of trim down here just to make it look more finished. And I'm concerned that this keeps popping up. So we'll go ahead and give it some extra glue. For some reason it thinks that it doesn't need to stay down over there. So I've been playing with some of the stuff I have here to come up with an idea for the cover. Okay, so there we have our book cover and the insides, and I'm going to go see if I can find something to put along this. Some different laces, and so we can go ahead and check. But I also thought maybe I might want to put a pocket here or a tuck Anyway, I do know I want to cover the inside, and I have this peach, but it really gets lost. There's this nude color. Also have this little white that has ended up being my favorite trim, and I think that's going to be the one. So we're just going to go ahead and put a bead of glue. I'm doing it in a circular motion so that it holds the whole piece of lace down. Jeez. Okay. So we'll start with this side since we're already in that direction. And we'll come in with those trusty scissors that don't work for anything except for doing stuff like this, because they don't seem to cut things anymore. Come down and, sorry about that, come down and cut it. And, okay, so do I want to put a pocket on this side? You know, I did make a pocket out of we could put that there. Oops, I already put the glue down, Julie. And I've now lost the little piece. Does that happen to you? Do you lose things while you're crafting? I just had it. I just had it. I just had it. Happens to me all the time, all day long. Okay. So I think I'm gonna like that, kind of get an idea how it will look with the signature in there. Yeah, I like that. I like that very much. Okay, whoopsie, you just got a sneak peek of the beginning of the first signature. Okay. Okay.